Hello, movie lovers! This is Does It Hold Up, and today I want to do something a little bit different. I was recently watching Minority Report, the 2002 movie directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Cruise, and I realized people don't talk about this movie enough. So I wanted to talk about it, but I wanted to talk about one specific sequence in the movie that I think gets overlooked when we talk about some of the greatest scenes in film history, at least in Spielberg's history. So let's talk about it right now. At this point in the movie, Tom Cruise's character, ex-chief John Anderton, needs to have his eyes replaced to evade law enforcement. The only way to do this is on the black market by a dirty doctor. Enter Dr. Eddie, played by the always wonderful and consistently underrated Peter Stormare. First off, the set design and lighting already make the audience uneasy. Camera angles and movement add to the feeling of being uncomfortable. Then, Anderton is dosed with anesthesia to prepare him for surgery without his knowledge or immediate consent. There's something off about everything that's happening, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It seems like just a backroom medical procedure, until the reveal hits. Anderton arrested the doctor years ago for horrendous crimes and ruined the man's life. After this reveal, the uneasiness is now full-blown terror and tension. What is going to happen to Anderton? His life is literally in the hands of a man that he ruined years before. Will he make it out alive? What kind of damage will the doctor do to him? Will the surgery turn out as planned? Nothing we as the audience can do except sit and wait for the outcome, all while fingers are crossed Anderton can survive. The tension is all the way up until he wakes up from the surgery, and it's shown that although the doctor held a grudge, it did not impede his work. Anderton is safe. He now has a moment to rest, and so do we. We can take a deep breath and relax knowing Anderton is safe. Everything done in this sequence is meant to put the audience on edge. The muted white colors give a real sense of fear during the surgery. Usually white is the color of cleanliness, but washing it out with the lighting and using it to highlight how much this apartment is falling apart tricks our minds. We want things to be sterile, clean, and pure, but the conversation being had between the protagonist and the doctor is the exact opposite, along with the actual visuals we see. Steven Spielberg uses quick, jerky camera movements to knock us off balance, but only after allowing us to sit still for at least a minute. This use of camera gives the audience an uneven viewpoint, which in turn makes us feel even more uncomfortable. Every decision made by Spielberg is deliberate to keep you on the edge of your seat with just words. Then, there's only one rule to follow after getting his eyes replaced, and that's to leave the bandages on for 12 hours, or there's a chance he can go blind. That shouldn't be too difficult, as he can stay in this rundown building until the countdown is up. One problem though, the authorities have arrived to search the building for him. They send out small robotic spiders to do eye scans. Wait. You mean the eyes that Anderton just had replaced and can't take the bandages off for 12 hours? Exactly. How will he get out of this situation? Immediately, the tension is returned to the story as we watch an overhead view of these spiders going from room to room for these scans. Each room brings us closer and closer to Anderton. We see him panicking, trying to block the door with towels, trying to find an escape. But there's no way for him to get around this. He's going to be caught. Until he isn't. He hides in an ice bath to lower his body temperature to escape their thermal scans. And don't forget he's doing this blind. And then he's safe yet again, and we can breathe another sigh of relief, until an air bubble gives away his position. The spiders shock the water. He refuses to be scanned. The cops are headed to his room. They're at his door. Against all warnings, Anderton slowly lifts one side of his eye bandage, and the spiders can scan him. They're not who he's looking for. The search is called off, and finally, he and the audience can rest again. This time, for real. If you watch the way the camera moves with the spiders, it creates a true sense of unease. Because these aren't creatures that exist, but they remind us of something many people are afraid of. And the way the cops close in on Anderton's door, they don't delay. They move with purpose. Everything is meant to build up the urgency and get the audience's heart racing. The overhead view shows us multiple rooms that all feel similar but distinct. We know these rooms in some way, and they all share a similar color palette, except one, Anderton's bathroom. Anderton's room has a slight blue tint to it, which once again plays tricks with the tension. Blue is the color of safety, peace, and calm. This scene is anything but, except that we, the audience, are meant to believe Anderton can and will be safe. This overhead of him in the bathtub under the ice water is split. Half the frame, where the lone spider is, has a dark tone with muted colors, but Anderton in the tub is bathed in blue. He's safe, he's peaceful, he's calm. This tricks us into believing he's outsmarted the hunters, yet the tension is still rising, because subconsciously, we know the overhead shot means he's going to get scanned, just as we saw not long ago for the other residents. These two scenes highlight the mastery Spielberg has over filmmaking. These can be studied to better understand why minor details like coloring, subtle camera movements, set design, and an understanding of how contradictions between story and expectations can be used to build better tension and emotional connection. This whole sequence of events is a cinephile's dream, and a great reminder of why, no matter what decade it is, Steven Spielberg is one of the best to ever do it. Let me know in the comments what you think about Minority Report. Are there any details in these two scenes that I missed? What other scenes would you like to see me break down? Until next time, just remember to be good to yourself, kind to others, and keep watching movies.